When you begin the process of making other parts of the house nice, the things that still need attention start to become really obvious. This wall was here when we arrived. We're not sure if it was ever meant to be permanent or if it was some kind of makeshift planter. It's just a few breeze blocks stacked together, slowly crumbling in the sun. But it sat right in the middle of the back garden, and if we're being honest, it became a bit of an eyesore. So we decided to do something about it. Tidy it up, fix the edges, and render the whole thing white to match the villa. But as we started, something unexpected appeared, and suddenly this project wasn't just about the wall anymore. Let me show you what happened.
Alright, so a project that I'm looking forward to getting going is rendering this dwarf wall now. It's kind of looking a bit sorry for itself against the lovely bright white paint and bright blue paint. So what we're going to do now is just set all of the edge beads. We've got this edge bead here which we're going to run all the way around so we can get some nice clean edges before we go in with the Durostcik D41 render and make this look nice and smooth to match the rest of the house. Let's get cracking. So the edge needs to be trimmed at 45° or so angle so that when they run up and join each other you get a nice clean corner. Now that the corners are all framed, you can see we're going to have beautiful straight edges all the way around this little dwarf wall. It's quite an exciting little project actually, because all of these little bits and pieces that are currently making the villa look tatty and run down are going to be completely changed with just a little bit of work. So yeah, let's get cracking, let's get these stuck down. It can dry for the rest of the day and then we'll get on with rendering it tomorrow. Okay, so the edge strips have all been set and they're all dried and we're ready to render this wall. We've got a small problem though. We've got a little family living inside this wall, so I'll show you who's living inside the wall in a second. We don't want to disturb them, so the problem now is to try to protect the wall so that when the cats jump in and out of their little home we don't end up with paw prints all over the wall. Let's take a little look at the little family that's living in there now. Hey Calamera. So this is a cat that we've named Feta because she seems to like our cheese. She's got some little kittens in there. There's probably, how many kittens are there? There's 4 kittens in there. She's pretty friendly, but she's kind of chosen the wrong spot. But we're going to try not to disturb her and get this wall project finished. Just need to try to get off as much loose flaky old render as we can. And there's quite a lot of it, and you can see the walls crumbling easily. It's not ideal. We've got to get all of that off before we can set the fresh render on top of that. So this is the product that I've been choosing to use for the render projects, including the shed that we've been doing over here in Greece. It's an all-in-one render. It's water resistant, it's moisture resistant, it lets the wall breathe. Yeah, it does a really nice job as well, and it gives that nice rough kind of Greek aesthetic that we're looking for. So also it's really easy to mix by hand. I don't have a paddle mixer over here, so super simple to mix by hand, and yeah, really nice to work with. Let's get it mixed up. Mixing with a stick like this will save your wrists a little bit if you're doing this by hand, but this is the kind of texture that we're looking for here. Workable, not too thick and not too runny. This is about perfect. Let's get cracking. This bit is a little bit like ice in a cake. You need to spread it with something quite thin. If you try and use a plastering trowel on this, you just find it goes all over the place and you end up wasting a lot of it. So what I've been doing is spreading it with a little filler knife like this, and then going over with the plastering trowel. You just waste less then. Also, we've got cats down there. I don't really want to be throwing plaster all over them. Managed to dodge them so far. And the mum has just gone off to, I don't know, forage for food, I guess. So I'm hoping it dries in time, so that when she jumps back over it, it doesn't leave a paw print. Although it might be quite cute if we get 1 or 2 paw prints, because we're planning on putting a bench over this anyway, and some cushions, like some old scaffold boards, like varnished them, and then some cushions, and turning it into a bit of a bench. So you won't even see the cat print anyway if it does materialise. Right, so that's the spreading with a filler knife, and then we can just go over it with the plastering trowel and get it nice and flat. Just to stand up to put more pressure on it. So yeah, you can see it's going flat now with not much wastage, which is what we're looking for. Okay, so we're done with the first coat of render now. It's meant to look rough. It's like a scratch coat, so that the next thin layer is easier and it takes to it. Yeah, thin coat tomorrow, and then we'll be looking to get the texture exactly the same as the house. Right, so this wall has had a couple of days to dry now, and we're just going to go in with the second coat. It's only going to be a real thin layer of render that we're going to put on now, just to try and even it out a little bit. So before we do that, we need to wet the wall down a bit. I mean, it's quite warm here at the moment, so it's going to dry out fairly quickly anyway. But this should stop the thin layer of render that we're about to put on from cracking. So although we're not trying to make this perfect, we're really looking to get rid of any low points. So when you see like a ridge forming in the plaster, you want to put an extra bit of plaster on, and keep smoothing it over until you get less dip. This is the fun part where you get to decide how much texture you want in your wall. Now you can wet your trowel down with a brush, and then slowly glide it over the thin layer of render, nice and gently, and you'll start to see smooth spots appearing. You get to decide how much smooth and how much rough you want. Now, we're not looking for it to be completely smooth, and we're not looking for it to be completely rough. We want a balance of the two. So you can just keep going over it until you're satisfied with how it looks. If you find it's looking too smooth, get a wet brush and then just bring some roughness back into it. Then you can just keep switching between brushing and troweling until you get the desired look. So as you can see now, the sunlight hitting the different textures. We've got some flat and some rough, and this is the combination that we were looking for, because the wall of the house isn't completely flat. So yeah, we're happy with this. This looks good. Once it's got a couple of layers of paint on it as well, it's going to put a bit more texture into the wall, and yeah, this should look good. So next, just got to let this dry, and then we're going to apply a couple of layers of paint to it. Hopefully it's going to look good. Got a little bit of a problem though, because we have a family of cats living under here. I'll zoom you in so you can see they're feeding at the moment. They're very cute, but they're halting progress a little bit. The mother does have a way in and out. She leaps through the little gap that I leave, and that's her way in and out. We have been feeding her all the time we've been here. So yeah, anyway, we're going to leave the roof over them and we're going to paint around as much as we can. So all of the bubbles on this roller help to create even more texture in the wall when you're rolling the paint on. And it's just the kind of aesthetic that we're going for on this wall. And when the sun comes out and hits various parts of the wall, you get different shadows. Gives the wall a completely different look depending on what time of the day it is. As the sun moves, it looks different all of the time. It's just a nice little touch. We like it.
Originally, we thought we'd remove what we believe were garden planters. They are crumbling away, and as we're not on the island long enough to maintain them as planters, they seemed useless and a bit unsightly. Storage can be tricky, especially with plastic bottles, which we like to try and recycle. So the idea came to turn the once planter into a dual purpose out-of-sight storage for our recycling, and with a wooden top and cushions for sitting under the olive tree. We didn't want to disturb the cat and her kittens, so we will finalise this project on our next trip. We hope you will join us for the final stages of this transformation in a few weeks. Thanks for watching this week's episode. Please like and subscribe, and we'll see you again really soon. Bye.